5 years ago, practically no businesses were really serious about working with social media. But just within the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen an explosion. Social media has basically become the next big buzzword, or actually you could call it gold rush. Every company now needs to have a social strategy. Everybody's opening Facebook pages, Twitter profiles. Everybody is rushing towards the big gold mine of social media, trying to get likes for their Facebook pages, followers for their Twitters, et cetera, et cetera. And we've all heard the cases, the case about Starbucks that created My Starbucks idea, where everybody could contribute with their ideas and help Starbucks build their business and get talking about Starbucks. We've heard about Old Spice, where they created a viral video that people started talking about, and they engaged with people on Twitter, and they created follow-up videos, etc. It was a great success, and they actually sold more body wash based on this social media campaign. And a lot of people have probably also heard about Doritos, who practically every year now creates a user-generated campaign where ordinary people can actually help them create their creative advertising, which is then shown on this Super Bowl, the big Super Bowl event in the US. But what we're not talking about so much when it comes to social media is all the cases where it doesn't work that well. The Facebook pages with 38 likes, where there's no one really talking, where the business is not really talking, where nothing is really happening. And there are so many great cases out there, but for every great case, there's probably 100 or 1,000 really, really bad cases. And there can be many reasons why social media strategies and initiatives and concepts actually fail. But my opinion is that one of the biggest reasons, one of the most important reasons why social media strategies fail today is the organization. And basically, you need to ask yourself as a business, is your organization ready for social media? And this is one of the things that I'm talking about in my book, Den Perfekte Storm. And I'm mentioning a lot of challenges. I'll just pull out 3 of those challenges today that are very important to think about when you're working with social media strategies. The first challenge is this one. Actually, when you are working with social media, a lot of people tend to forget that social media is all about getting people involved, getting people to talk. And they end up just pushing their messages out just the way they've been doing it for 50 or 60 years. But social media is actually all about getting people to talk. And that's why when it comes to doing something in social media, you need to think differently. You need to start thinking not of yourself as a producer of communication, but as someone who is actually shepherding, helping other people to communicate. One of the very nice examples of this is Lego, who has been a wonderful producer of Lego for, 50 years or something like that. And today they're moving in a new direction. They're doing a lot of different things, but one of the things that they're doing is that they've built this thing called Lego QSO, where they actually ask their consumers to contribute with Lego kits. So you can actually upload you can build a Batmobile, and you can upload it here, and if you get 10,000 supporters for your idea, Lego will actually put this into production. And it looks so easy when you look at Lego doing stuff like this, but it is actually very, very difficult to transform your organization from being someone who produced Lego kits to being an organization where you're not the producer anymore, but you are actually the facilitator, the shepherd, someone who helps other people create good stuff. Imagine, I mean, if Lego is successful doing this, Lego might actually end up being a company where all of their kits, all of their Lego kits are user-generated, and in 10, 20 years from now, they may need to fire all of their Lego kit designers that are working with Lego, and that's a pretty difficult decision to make in an organization. And we're seeing this in a lot of different organizations in the news business. We see journalists struggling with bloggers, having difficulties giving up this thing about being the great producer of content and actually letting go and letting other people create the content. So basically what I'm saying is you need to teach your organization, and this is the first challenge, you need to teach your organization to walk behind all of your producers. These are all of your customers. You need to help them go in the right direction and create interesting content. So The second challenge is all about being evaluated, and this is one of the big things that we see in social media today. And actually, one of the first companies that did this was Amazon.com. Amazon launched several years ago, and one of the really revolutionary things, we don't think of that anymore, but one of the really revolutionary things that they did was that they created a rating system, so you could actually rate all of the products that were on the Amazon website. And this was, I mean, today it just seems so natural, but back then it was a very big step, because, I mean, what if you're selling something that people review really badly? Then, I mean, you won't sell that many products. But it works for Amazon, and it works for a lot of other businesses. This is something that I'm also doing with my own book. Actually, whenever people read my book, they can, in the end of each chapter, they can comment on the chapter. They can use their cell phone, they can use Twitter or go to the website, and the comment that they post will go straight to the book front page. So on the front page of my book, you can actually see unedited all of the comments that people are giving me for my book. And this is something that really works well in social media, because it creates traffic, it creates authenticity. People actually, when they see this page, they'll see, oh, that's interesting. This is actually what people are saying about Peter's book, and the likelihood that more people will buy the book is actually pretty great. But again, this is something that's really difficult, because this is something that most organizations are not used to doing, because most organizations think of themselves as, when they produce something, it's perfect. It's the finished, perfect product. And there's no reason to evaluate a perfect product, because it is perfect. So basically, usually what I'm telling organizations and businesses is what they need to do is they need to always think of their product as being under construction. So whenever you put something out, be it a book or a Lego kit or whatever it is, you need to think of it as this product could always become better, or that I'm not the smartest person in the world. So if you think about your products in this way, if you think that you are always under construction, then you will actually welcome criticism, you will welcome evaluation, and you will start working actively with criticism and evaluation within your organization. So if you want to work with evaluation, which is very important in social media, think of your products as being constantly something that you're improving on and constructing. So that leads us to the third and the final of the challenges, which is all about sharing. And this is actually, it's really important. I've worked on so many projects with customers. Like five years ago, every business wanted a blog. Today, everyone wants a Facebook page. 5 years ago, everybody wanted a blog, and I was involved in a lot of different blogging projects, and it was all very interesting, and we had very great strategies for blogging. A lot of these projects, probably 80 or 90% of all of these blogging projects, failed. And why did they fail? Well, they failed because businesses didn't have anything really valuable to contribute with. And the thing is that if you want to share something, if you want to create a blog, if you want to create a Twitter profile or a Facebook page, whatever you put on that Facebook page, Twitter profile, whatever you put there, it really needs to be valuable. So when you're sharing is only valuable if you share valuable information. And very often, what customers, what businesses will put on their blog or a Facebook page is whatever they will put in their press release, or whatever they've produced in their marketing department or their PR department. And typically, a lot of that information is not very valuable. People are not interested in that kind of stuff, especially not in the social media sphere. And again, to use my own book as an example, this was one of the things that I struggled with. And I've worked with social media for 10 years, and so I know a lot of these things, but it's still hard. The thing that I did was that I created a community on Facebook where I invited people, experts on digital media, to talk and help me write my book. And one of the things that I wanted to do was that I wanted to share something really valuable with them in order for them to get interested and enticed and participate in this project. And the only thing that I really had when I started writing the book was my synopsis, which was basically everything, all my ideas, everything kind of the sweat and the heart that I put into this book project. And so it was a 20-page, very, very valuable document for me. And I knew that people in this that I invited to become part of this community, they were competitors. There were even people that I knew were going to write similar books. And I was really thinking hard, am I going to share this content with these people in order for them to participate in this project? And I was really hesitating. I was sitting with my hand on that button for like 10 minutes, and I was like, share, not share, share, not share. And then finally, I actually shared the content. And people loved it, and they really loved the content. Nobody, of course, stole the content. Nobody has written a book where they stole this content. And I had 150 people participating actively in my project because I shared something valuable. So basically, very often what you have to ask yourself is, if you want to share something in a blog, on a Facebook page, will your competitor think that this is valuable? And if the answer is no, probably you shouldn't share it because then it's not interesting. If the answer is yes, then you should share it because then it's valuable content. So those are the three challenges that you are facing from an organizational perspective when you're working with social media. So the big question is, of course, where should you start with all of this? It's should you basically, because the big thing is, should you just go and do something on social media and then hope that the organization will follow, or should you start kind of a big change management project and then change your organization and then start working with social media? And basically my conclusion and my final word today is that you need to just do it. The only way that your organization can learn to work with social media is to do it. So my advice is, even though I have said it's difficult without your organization, you actually just need to do it. You need to start a Facebook page, start a Twitter profile, get onto Pinterest, get onto Instagram, whatever. And do it not because you want to achieve something from a business perspective, but do it because you want your organization to learn these three challenges. And when your organization has learned, when you've done it, and you've done these things, and people in your organization start to think in these new ways, well, then you can start to think strategically about how to use social media. So basically, the conclusion is, it's really hard to get your organization to think about these things in the right way, but the only way to get about doing it is just do it. Thank you.